Why don't we ever tell secrets around money? Because it always makes sense. But what if one day it didn't? Now, there's a thought to ponder. Imagine for a moment our world without a single penny, dollar, or yen. A world where money as we know it simply vanishes. Currently, the world spins on the axis of currency. It fuels our economies, it drives our societies, and it shapes our lives in ways more profound than we often care to admit. But what if we woke up one morning and it was all gone? Our bank accounts empty, our wallets hollow. The immediate aftermath would undoubtedly be chaos. Markets would collapse, businesses would shutter, and the world as we know it would be thrown into a state of unprecedented confusion. Imagine waking up to a world where your bank balance reads zero, not just yours, but everyone's. A terrifying prospect, isn't it? But that's where our journey begins today. Remember when we traded lunch items in the school cafeteria? Welcome back to that world. Now let's imagine a world where all the money has vanished. No notes, no coins, no electronic money. What replaces it? The good old barter system. Remember, this is the same system our ancestors used before the invention of money. It's a simple system where you exchange goods or services for other goods or services, but it isn't as easy as it sounds. Determining the value of goods and services can be a daunting task. How do you decide how many apples are equivalent to a pair of shoes, or how many haircuts equal a bicycle? It's a complex process that requires negotiation and mutual agreement. Let's delve into history for a moment. The barter system, though seemingly simple, was riddled with inefficiencies. One such problem was what economists call the double coincidence of wants. This means that for a successful barter to take place, both parties need to have what the other wants. For example, if you have apples and want shoes, you must find someone who has shoes and wants apples. As you can imagine, this could get quite complicated and time-consuming. Also, the barter system lacked a standard measure of value. Without a common medium of exchange like money, it was difficult to compare the value of different goods and services. This often resulted in unfair trades, where one party would end up with less value than they started with. Moreover, storing and transporting goods for barter was another challenge. Unlike money, which is compact and easy to carry, goods like livestock or grain can be bulky and perishable. So, if we were to return to a barter system, we'd be stepping back into a world riddled with complexities and inefficiencies. A world where trading could become a tedious daily task, and where the value of goods and services is not always clear. So, you might end up trading your car for a loaf of bread if you're hungry enough. When money disappears, what takes its place? Something has to, right? The absence of conventional money doesn't necessarily mean the absence of trade or value exchange. On the contrary, it might lead to the birth of new currencies. Imagine a world where digital currencies take the center stage. Cryptocurrencies, decentralized and transparent, could become the new normal. The likes of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and others that are already making waves in our current financial ecosystem could potentially become the main form of value exchange. They are not tied to any physical asset or government, making them a plausible option in a world without traditional money. But digital currencies aren't the only potential replacement. We might see a resurgence of resources like gold or even water becoming valuable commodities. In a world where physical money doesn't exist, these tangible assets could become the new standard for trade. Gold has been a symbol of wealth for centuries, and water, a vital resource for life, could become a valuable asset in this hypothetical scenario. However, the birth of new currencies could also lead to power imbalances and corruption. Imagine a world where the person with the largest water reservoirs becomes the wealthiest. In such a scenario, the power dynamics could shift drastically, and not necessarily for the better. Those who control these resources or have a significant stake in digital currencies could potentially become the new elite. And with power concentrated in the hands of a few, corruption could become rampant. This is a stark reminder that, even in a world without traditional money, we might still grapple with the old problems of wealth disparity, power concentration, and corruption. In the end, the rich might not be those with the fancy cars, but those with the largest water reservoirs. The birth of new currencies, therefore, could be a double-edged sword, offering both a fresh start and new challenges. But one thing's for sure, even in a world without money, the concept of value and trade will always exist. It's just the form that changes. So we've bartered, we've created new currencies, but what about society? What happens to us? In a world devoid of money, the fabric of society could undergo a transformation. The social structures that we've grown accustomed to, that are largely based on financial status, might crumble. With no wealth to hoard or flaunt, we could see a leveling of the playing field, a reduction in income inequality. A society in which your worth isn't determined by your bank balance, but by your character, your skills, your contributions. But it's not all roses and rainbows. The absence of a universally accepted medium of exchange could breed chaos. Crime rates could escalate as people scramble to secure resources. Trust, a pillar of any functioning society, might be eroded as suspicion and desperation set in. And then there's the potential for conflict. Barter trades and new currencies might lead to disagreements, disputes, even wars. The struggle for resources, the fear of scarcity could pit us against each other, fracture communities. Yet in the midst of this chaos, there's a glimmer of hope. As we navigate through these uncharted waters, we might stumble upon new ways to coexist, to empathize, to share. It's during the most testing times that we often see the most profound acts of kindness, of resilience, of innovation. Without money, we might see the best and the worst of humanity. So is a world without money a utopia or a dystopia? We've journeyed through the Disappearance Act, revisited the barter system, witnessed the birth of new currencies, and felt the social impact. On one hand, we've seen the potential for equality, simplicity, and human connection. On the other, we've seen the chaos, inconvenience, and potential for exploitation. The scales are balanced precariously. Whether a dream or a nightmare, a world without money would certainly be a world transformed.